Here's a question that pisses off every 40k fan. Why do Guardsmen carry lasguns when boltguns exist? Everyone has an opinion. They're too weak, the Imperium is cheap, or humans can't handle their recoil. But here's what nobody talks about. The Imperium isn't stupid. They've fought wars for 10,000 years. They've conquered a galaxy, and you think they just don't realize that bolt guns are better? No, there is a reason. And when you understand it, you realize the Imperium is way more terrifying than you thought. Let's deal with the easy explanations first. Bolt guns are too heavy for normal humans. Okay, sure, except commissars carry bolt pistols. Surgeons use them. Even some officers have them. So clearly humans can use them without their arms falling off. They're too expensive. Yeah, probably. The Imperium's economy runs on grinding regular humans into paste, just to keep the war machine moving. But we're talking about an empire that builds cathedral-sized battleships and loses entire planets, like loose change. Cost isn't really the issue here. So here's the thing, everyone focuses on the weapon, the gun itself. But the real question isn't can humans use bolt guns, it's can the Imperium supply them? And that's where everything falls apart. Let me paint you a picture. One bolt round weighs about 100 grams. That's a small apple. Doesn't sound like much, right? Now, a guardsman in active combat goes through maybe 1,000 rounds in a week. That's 100 kilograms per week per soldier. Scale that to a year. That's nearly half a ton of ammunition for one guy. Now here's where it gets fun. The Imperial Guard has trillions of soldiers across millions of worlds, and they're all fighting wars that last decades. Do the math. I'll wait. But you can't. Nobody can, because the numbers stop making sense. We're talking about ammunition shipments that would require more cargo capacity than the entire Imperial Navy has warships. And that's assuming perfect logistics, which, have you met the Imperium? These are the people who lose entire fleets in the warp because someone forgot to pray correctly. Now let's talk about what makes the lasgun beautiful. A guardsman carries maybe 3 to 4 power packs. Each one weighs a few kilograms. And here is the magic. You can recharge them. You know what that means? A single guardsman can fight for weeks without resupply. As long as he's alive, which, let's be honest, isn't long. Compare that to bolt guns now. You run out of ammo, you're done. You're waiting for a supply drop that might never come, because the ship got attacked by Dark Eldar 3 systems away. Oh, and here's my favorite part. Guardsmen can't aim. I'm serious. These aren't space marines with decades of training and superhuman reflexes. These are poor guys who got pulled off some farming world 3 weeks ago. They stick their arms out of trenches and spray in whatever direction the commissar is screaming. And you want to give those guys expensive and powerful ammunition? You're basically just donating bolt gun rounds to the dirt. Here's what makes this truly grimdark. Even if you wanted to switch every guardsman to bolt guns, you couldn't. Not because of production. The Imperium can make anything given enough time and slaves. It's the infrastructure. Every ship, every warehouse, every supply depot, all of it is designed around lasguns and power packs. To switch to boltguns, you'd need to rebuild the entire Imperial logistics network. We're talking about infrastructure that spans the galaxy and has been in place for thousands of years. And you know what happens when you try to reorganize Imperial bureaucracy? Entire sectors go dark, wars are lost, planets starve. The Imperium is trapped by its own scale. They can't change, even if they wanted to. And here's the really messed up part. The Imperium doesn't need Guardsmen to have better weapons. They need Guardsmen to die in sufficient numbers to slow down the enemy while the real soldiers arrive. You're not supposed to win with a lasgun. You're supposed to hold the line just long enough for the Space Marines to show up, or the Titans, or the orbital bombardment. The lasgun isn't a weapon, it's a timer, and you are the sacrifice. That's why they're mass-produced. That's why they're simple. That's why they never run out of ammo. Because you're going to run out of heartbeat long before you run out of charge packs. The Imperium looked at the math and realized we can either give 1 million soldiers good weapons, or we can give 1 billion soldiers okay weapons. And in the grim darkness of the far future, it's quantity that wins wars. So the next time someone asks, why don't they just use cool and powerful boltguns? Remember, it's not stupidity, it's not even cruelty, it's scale. The Imperium is so massive, so bloated, so impossibly vast that the only weapon that makes sense is the one that can arm everyone, everywhere, and forever. Lasguns aren't weak. They're the only thing holding the Imperium together. And that's way more terrifying than any boltgun could ever be.